The Auburn Tigers start 1-0 in the SEC. Let's talk about it. What is up, up-tempo family? What is up, Auburn family? How are we doing on this Sunday morning, man? Glad to be here. Glad to talk some Auburn basketball with each and every one of you. Hope everybody is having a blast. I'm riding solo today. Dustin will be back Tuesday. Guys, we're going to hop right into it. All right, this basketball team that we have is unbelievable. We're unbelievable. We're in my opinion, the best team in the country from top to bottom. From coaching to team to trainers, strength coach, whatever, however you want to slice it. I think we're the best team in the country. This team has so many options. And you can start with Janai, or you can start with Cardwell, your vocal leader, or you can go to CBM, the guy who does the dirty work, but he's also that guy that can hit shots and play defense at an elite level. Or you can even go to Denver Jones, a transfer guy in just like CBM, who come from a smaller school, who had to find his rhythm at Auburn, who had to get in the sync of things and figure out what position he was really going to play, and could he handle going from the 2 guard to the one spot and running point for this Auburn team, because they needed him. And it's worked out tremendously. It has worked out the best possible way Bruce could have ever imagined, man. And just the weapons this team has. You can even look at a guy like Miles Kelly dealing with the wrist and still getting out there playing elite defense, making things happen offensively. He's not one of those guys that he doesn't have to fill it up to be effective on the court for Auburn. And that's how I look at this Auburn team, is Dylan Cardwell doesn't have to go get you 20. He can. He's done it, but he doesn't have to. And that Auburn team is elite. Elite. And I think if you finish anything less than Elite 8, some people are going to be upset. Some people are going to be upset, y'all. I wanted to get into this first. Missouri's head coach, Justin Ferguson, tweeted this out yesterday. And I'll be honest with you, it really popped to me, and it made me say, hey, this could be the year. This could be the magic moment, the one shining moment for Auburn where we get to dance in basketball. And Missouri's head coach, Dennis Gates, said, Auburn is a great basketball team. At the end of the day, you can tell the chip is on their shoulder. To me, it's no different than that Virginia team that lost in the first round and went on to win a championship. So, excuse me. If you remember, Virginia, the year before they beat us, they got upset in the first round to a 16 seed. UMBC beat them. The first time a 1 seed had ever went down to a 16 seed. And the following year, they come back. Yes, it was controversial, and all of that happened, right? But they ended up winning it. Kyle Guy, you can't deny what Kyle Guy did. Like, he made clutch shots. And yes, Brad, it was certainly controversial. I'll put it to you like this. I've never seen an official stare at a obvious double dribble and not call it. So that's what hurt the most on that one. But coming from another coach inside of your conference saying, hey, this team, it feels like a lot like a team that won the national championship in previous years, and I could see them very well cutting down the nets. That's coming from a coach not out of your conference, in your conference. That says a lot. That says a lot. So Look, 84-68 win over Missouri. Was it expected? Yes. The point spread ended up at 18.5. That's what it locked out at. You dominated. You dominated. I even told Brett, one of our main guys who's always in here, I can't take Auburn to cover 18.5 because it's just so many points in a conference basketball game. And you look across the conference yesterday, and it was nothing but blowouts. But I still couldn't take the 18.5. I couldn't give it because it's the SEC. It's the best conference in college basketball right now. And giving up that many points, man, that's just insane. And I didn't think Auburn would cover. I predicted yesterday on the preview show, I said this game will be like 83 to 72. I saw Auburn winning an 11-point game, So I didn't think Auburn would cover, but they had the opportunity to cover. And this is one thing I want to start with the 16 turnovers. And Auburn got a 26-point lead at one point, and this is the only flaw for Auburn basketball, in my opinion. They have one flaw. They get huge leads on teams that they know they are better than, and they get sloppy with the basketball. They take stupid shots. They get sloppy. They turn into more of an NBA type offense. Let me go ISO. Let me see if my one-on-one game's better than this guy. And they get out of what they're trying to do offensively. And that is the only flaw I have of this Auburn basketball team. Now, you see guys like Janai and you'll see guys like CBM kind of check them and say, hey, look, it's getting back to that point where, hey, we got to get things right. We got to lock back in. And they do it, right? They know that they're better than Missouri. They know that. That's the reason you saw the turnovers and everything. Tahad had a couple where you're like, hey, clean it up, right? And that's the reason it went from 26 back down to 18, 16 so quick, is because Auburn got sloppy. And, 16 turnovers at home, I want to see that number cut down because I think turning the ball over almost 20 times a game is certainly a way that you could find a couple losses on your resume. But Auburn was just far more talented than Missouri. And I told you on the pregame show yesterday that this was a bad matchup, in my opinion. I did not think Missouri could score with Auburn. I did not think they could shoot with Auburn, and they couldn't. They couldn't. And I think you got to credit Auburn's defense for holding the Missouri Big Three, their three best players, Mitchell, Robinson, and Bates, to 14 points combined. Robinson didn't even score. He didn't even have a bucket. So I think you have to credit Auburn's defense for what they did yesterday, for taking them completely out of the game. I told you guys, Missouri doesn't shoot it well from the three. They also don't defend the three well. That's probably the one thing about Missouri that's going to hurt them the most the more we get into conference play, is they don't defend the three and they don't shoot the three. And you saw yesterday, take Florida and Kentucky, for example. I mean, that was a sniper show. I mean, just offense was going crazy. Three ball was going crazy. Take Alabama, for example. Three ball was going crazy. Missouri could struggle in conference because of that. And I think Auburn shoots it well this year. It's been fun to watch because we've struggled for so many years shooting the three ball. And so I do credit Auburn's defense for taking those three guys away from Missouri, and that basically put a stranglehold on what they were trying to do offensively. And also, look, Auburn didn't have cheap fouls yesterday. That was Mizzou's game plan. I told you, dribble, drive, get to the bucket, draw fouls, make things difficult for Auburn. Put Auburn in early foul trouble. Get Chaney Johnson, Janai Broom, Dylan Cardwell. Get one of those guys in early foul trouble and get them to the bench as quick as possible so they can be effective on offense. And I felt like Auburn avoided that yesterday. They avoided the big blow of Cardwell having to go to the bench or Chaney, They avoided disaster at home. And I was super impressed with that. I thought Auburn defended very, very well. And boy, offensively, like I said, I really don't know how you beat this Auburn team when it matters. And that's not me being a homer. You hear this, all across podcast and people who cover college basketball. Is I got a couple buddies that are like, you're just a homer, man. Auburn, they're peaking too early. No, they're not. This is a really, really good basketball team. And you got shooters. You have elite passers. That brings me to my next point of what I really want to talk about is I've never seen a dagger in a team at the 12:30 mark of the first half. I've never seen somebody hit a dagger three at the 12:30 mark of the first half in a college basketball game. Janai Broom looking for somebody, picks his dribble up, trying to find help, looks over his left shoulder, sees CBM on the wing, turns around, makes the pass over his opposite shoulder, and delivers a dime to CBM. Missouri guy tries to close out, put a hand in the face, ends up making contact. CBM sinks the three-point play. Crowd goes crazy in Neville Arena. And he goes to the free throw line and makes his free throw for a chance at a 4-point play. To me, when that happened, Missouri was dead. It was over for Missouri. It was done. They were done. You let Auburn have a moment there and snatch your soul, and that is exactly what happened. I thought that was super impressive. Great find from Janai, and hey, a guy put up 28 minutes, 9 of 13 from the floor, 24 points, 7 boards. I just talked about that assist right there. Continues to make his case for National Player of the Year. National Player of the Year, y'all. It's not hard. Everybody, I made a TikTok last night that Janai Broom deserves National Player of the Year so far this season. And the guy said, well, what about Mark Sears? Great player. Great player. But hasn't done anything close to what Janai Broom has done this year. Not even close. It's not even on the same scale. Not even close. Janai, this is a guy that could have went pro. I think Mike G talked about that a little bit last night. This is a guy that could have went pro. Was he an NBA player? They had him, second round, undrafted. That was the draft grade. Hey, I think he's a draft pick. I think he's got the best possible chance to play in the NBA, him and Chaney. I think he's a guy, man, and he chose to come back to this Auburn team. Did they pay him? Sure. Who cares? NIL's part of it, right? But he chose to come back for unfinished business. He said, I'm not going out losing to Yale. I'm not going out that way. And people ripped me last year when I posted on Twitter that SEC tournament championship didn't mean anything. It still doesn't, in my opinion. I don't find it. I don't find it something to celebrate when you lose to Yale in the first round. It's just how I feel about it. And I think that kind of sits with Janai. It's like, hey, we accomplished something, but then we went straight into the NCAA tournament and fell flat on our face. So I got to come back. And what he's done this year, Iowa State, we can go down that road, keeping us in the Duke game. That was teeter-tottering an 8 to 10 point game, and Janai brings us back into that game. He showed up every time. Purdue, he has showed up in every game, man, and he's brought it for Auburn. And his game continues to get better. You saw it early yesterday. Steps out. He hits a three. If Janai Broom can step away from the basket and make shots, if Chaney Johnson can step away from the basket and make shots, your offense is that much better. You were that much better when those guys can step away and clear the floor, man. They also, Chaney and Janai, when I make the NBA thing, they can step away and shoot the basketball. You have to be able to shoot in the NBA. And they can step away and they can make the mid range. They can step away and hit the 3-point shot. Do they do it often? No. But they can. They can. Let me see, Brad. I see your comment, man. Still a conference championship, and the SEC was tough last year too. But I get you, Blake. Upsetting loss for sure. AU earned that loss with the lack of discipline, though, for sure, man. Like where I sit with it is like, I love that we won the conference tournament. I think it was undervalued by the committee because they didn't do anything. Like, we went into the SEC tournament as a 4 seed, we won the thing, and then we come out as a 4 seed. So it was like, why the hell did we even play the SEC tournament? You didn't have any value for it. You gave us a 4 seed, and coming out of it, we still had a 4 seed, and we got put in the toughest bracket of it all. We got thrown in UConn's bracket. So, like, I just feel like it was a complete letdown because we were going into the tournament and they were saying, "Oh man, Auburn could make a Final Four run. They could get this team could go to the Elite Eight," and we fell flat on our face. And yes, in that game, we did not hit clutch free throws. We weren't disciplined. We were turnovers. Aiden committing a dead ball foul. Like, everything was just disastrous in that tournament game. And that's why I like what Dennis Gates had to say. Is if it kind of feels fairly similar to what happened to Virginia. And I thought that was a great response from him, a great comparison. I'm really impressed with Dennis Gates. The year that they had last year with not winning an SEC game, y'all, this Missouri team is going to win a couple games in the SEC. This Missouri team is good. They're a lot better. They hit the portal. They're not going. They're not going without an SEC win this year. And I think what's crazy about the SEC and how great it is hell, you could get 3/4 of your conference in the NCAA tournament. That is insane. That is crazy. NFL Sunday. Sorry about that notification. Dale Dapp fan, make sure to go to church this morning. That is correct, y'all. It is pouring down rain here. I know it's not an excuse, but I skipped the good Sunday, man. I skipped this Sunday, and I wanted to knock out this episode. And so, but yeah, everybody, make sure you get to church this morning. We know we all love that here on the Uptempo podcast. Brad, what you got ready? As soon as CBM went out, I knew it was trouble for sure, man. For sure. That also killed us. But look, I want to give the game the praise. I know I praised Janai, and I praise all these kids, actually. But I want to give all the praise to Chaney Johnson. This is a guy who started out D2, played in front of Bruce. Bruce saw him and said, "Hey, that guy's not a D2 player. Come develop." Okay. And Bruce has taken a lot of heat about Bruce doesn't develop players and it's a bad system and all of this stuff, right? Chaney Johnson has developed. Bruce has taken his game, and this coaching staff, I don't want to shorten anybody, but the coaching staff has taken his game to an elite level where I think he could be an NBA player. 31 minutes last night, 5 of 7 from the field, 13 points, 7 boards. I think Chaney can play, man. Another guy, just like I talked about with Janai, who can step away from the basket, and that makes Auburn's offense that much more elite. A guy that can knock down shots. He can take a 3. He hit a 3 yesterday. He can take the mid-range. He can go out there, give you shot fake, put the ball on the floor, go right around you. There's multiple things the guy, excuse me, that guy can do. He's really good, man. He's physical on the boards. I love how Chaney Johnson plays the game of basketball. He's really, really good. I'm super impressed with how Bruce brought him along and the maturity that is showing from Chaney Johnson. That's one of the most impressive things for me. Tigers shoot 47% from three and 57% from the field. Boy, Missouri, if you wanted to have any chance to win this game, you didn't need Auburn shooting it like that. And they did. And like I said in the pregame, I didn't think Missouri could keep up because Missouri shot 30% from the three, and they shot 38% from the field. So shooting 38% on the road from the field is not going to win you a game in Neville Arena against this high-powered Auburn offense. And a little bit has to do with Auburn's defense and how well they play, and I get that. But it was just a bad matchup from the get-go for me because Missouri's offense is strictly get to the rim, draw fouls, get to the free throw line. And hey, what's crazy is they shot 73% from the free throw line, and we shot 75% from the free throw line. So we outshot them at the charity stripe, and they're one of the better shooting teams from free throw. Like, they're really, really good. That is part of their game. And we outshot them yesterday. So really impressed. I do want to see us pick it up on the boards. I feel like they got too many offensive rebounds. It happens. They had a big 7-footer, but I need to see us clean it up. I don't want us going the deeper we get and getting out rebounded, getting worked on the glass. But other than that, I think Auburn basketball brought it yesterday. This is what you wanted to see. I think you go on the road to Texas Tuesday. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, and we'll preview that one. I'll probably be back on here tomorrow night. I'll go watch a little bit of Texas's game against Texas A&M, and I'll check them out and have a preview for y'all on that. But super proud of this basketball team. Let me get this super chat in here. We appreciate you, Daryl Dat fan. The $1.99 super chat. Blake, steadfast and true, heart of gold in all they do. Hey, we appreciate you, brother. Enjoy your Sunday. And this basketball team and this program is really, really bringing us joy in a time of where Auburn football isn't bringing us joy, in a time of repeated failure, in a time of where you are better than your opponent and you somehow find a way to lose over and over and over again. And I think it's really, really fun to watch a team when they know they're better than somebody. They absolutely pummel them. And that's fun to watch. I don't care, football, baseball, basketball, whatever. When you know you're better than somebody, you go out there and you handle business. And Auburn football hasn't been doing that. They've been getting close. They get down to the nitty gritty, and there's 2 minutes left, and they give up a drive to Missouri to lose the game. That's how it goes, right? And I think that's what's so much. It's so fun to watch Auburn basketball finish things out, close things out. We've talked about for a couple years how Auburn closes the end of halves. I think this year you've seen an Auburn team at the end of the second half against Iowa State have a plan. Denver Jones creating something, going left, getting to the rim right there, and Janai with the tip back to win the game. There's a plan there. There's something to work on there for Auburn basketball. At the end of the first half, you see Auburn. They're out in transition. They're taking really good shots. They're getting points off of turnovers and all of this stuff. There's a plan there, and I think that's what I love most about this team is the cohesiveness and togetherness, and they're having fun. And one thing I got to stop seeing is weak technical call fouls. Like weak techs have got to stop in college basketball. Weak flagrant fouls have got to stop in college basketball. Todd Pettiford saying something should not, unless he curses or goes off on a coach or pushes somebody or whatever. Like, come on, man. Him talking a little trash and everything. Get out of here. Like, stop blowing the whistle on that stuff. You're making the game soft, and we got to stop doing that stuff, man. But other than that, y'all, I thought Auburn played extremely well. I'm excited. I think this team can go far. And look, I'm going to get out of here. I hope y'all enjoy y'all Sunday. We got a big week coming up. Some great SEC matchups once again in this college basketball run. It's going to be a heck of a year, y'all. Let's sit back, enjoy the ride. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all for supporting this channel. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. A lot of good stuff, a lot of good member pods coming out. I know Dustin's been on his grind. I'm certainly going to push some basketball and some baseball stuff out here soon. Appreciate that, Daryl Dapp. And I'll get to Brad, your last comment here. That's a tech, but Cardwell getting elbowed to the face was a basketball play. Exactly. That's my point, man. That's my point. Is it's so wishy-washy in college basketball in today's time, and in the NBA. I think that's probably what has the biggest thing to do with it. Is the NBA got so soft that college basketball probably had to follow. They probably had to follow suit, and it is what it is, man. I feel like it's all of sports now. It's even in baseball. Real quick before I end it, even in baseball, y'all, I'm a big sportsmanship guy. All right, I love what Kenny Dillingham made his players do after they lost to Texas. Hey, you don't leave the field. You go back and you shake hands, right? You go back and you shake hands. But I see kids in like the Little League World Series. They hit a batter, and as the batter's like holding his back, walking down to first, and he's like, "Oh God!" The pitcher like goes over there and puts his arm around him, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry I hit you." No, dog. No. Like, what are we teaching kids, man? We're competing. We are competing. You don't go over there and wrap your arm around him and say, "Oh brother, I'm so sorry." No. You say, "Hey, give me the ball back, man. Let me go get on the bump again and compete." This isn't a little pity party, and the softness has taken over. And then ESPN like retweets, "Oh, look at this sportsmanship." Oh, that's weak, is what it is. It is weak. If my dad would have ever saw me walk off of third base over to first and dap somebody up and be like, "Hey, bro, sorry for what happened. Like, sorry I slid into second, spikes up, and I hate what happened." Like, come on, man. Like, I just I don't get it in today's sports. But that's my little rant. Love y'all. Enjoy y'all Sunday. Pull for them Broncos, baby. Bo Nix, rookie QB, trying to get into the playoffs today. Y'all have a good one. Happy Sunday. See y'all Tuesday. Maybe tomorrow night. I got to do that. Got to do that preview for the Texas game. So we'll see y'all. Love y'all. War Damn Eagle, baby.